Hello and welcome back. If you don't know me already, I am Nolly, licensed nail tech and educator. In today's video, we will be talking about nail prepping so that your Japanese gels don't lift. Now, if you don't know, a lot of Japanese gels, they don't really require you to use prep and prime. What do you do when you have a difficult client or even yourself who is very prone to lifting? Well, I've done my fair share of trial and errors, and let me tell you how I would tackle this. So basically, we are doing a basic manicure before we put any kind of gel. A lot of time you hear that don't use cuticle remover because it can cause lifting, but why? Well, it's because oftentimes cuticle remover, they have moisture in them and that can cause lifting. So the recommendation is usually to do a dry manicure. Now, if you don't have a drill, you can still push your cuticles with a metal pusher, but I feel it's not as effective as using an electric drill. I think it's best to use a drill because you can really get up close to that cuticle and push it. So when I start pushing the cuticle, I always use a small diamond bit. It helps me remove and push that cuticle all at the same time. Make sure that once all your cuticles have been pushed back, trim wherever it's necessary. Leaving unwanted cuticles around can also cause it to lift. Now that we have all of that done, it is now time to tackle the nail surface. Now, in a lot of Japanese gels, they tend to have you just buff the nail surface. Buffing can definitely help with removing the shine and oils off your nail surface, but what I notice is that when I do that, it causes lifting right off the bat. So when I just buff the gel, I notice that it will only last 2 days at most before it starts lifting and I have the urge to peel that baby off. Because buffing leaves your nail surface too smooth, your gel has nothing to adhere to. Notice that will work without having to put any prep and prime is to use a nail file, and you're pretty much just etching that nail surface. Once I'm done with the filing process, I go ahead and I wipe my nails down with alcohol and I start my gel process. Let's say that you did all that and it's still causing lifting. Well, in that case, you will have to use a bit of prep and primer. Primer should only be concentrated on areas that is prone to lifting. So if the cuticle area is where it's lifting the most, put primer there. Or if it's the tip, then I would concentrate it on there. We really don't want to saturate the whole entire nail with primer, only in the areas that tend to lift. But be aware that when you use primer to your gel process, the soak off process will take longer unless you use a drill bit to remove your gels. A quick side note on other possibilities that might be causing your Japanese gels to lift is to double check your lamps. Sometimes if you have an older lamp that is probably 3+ years old, that can be a cause for gels lifting also. And when we go back to talking about prep and primer, I always recommend that you're using the same brand in prep and primer. Don't go using 2 different brands because that can be another problem in your prepping also. Alright, so this is my process for prepping my Japanese gels. When I follow these steps, I feel that I don't see any lifting issues, or have I seen it lift on my clients when I do follow these steps. Now, if you are still having difficult issues on your Japanese gels lifting, let me know in the comments down below and I'll try my best to answer them. As always, if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.